What is up guys, this is Nakul from Ingenious Baller and welcome to my very own first YouTube channel related to technology. So today I'm going to review my very own iPhone 5s, which is almost 4 years old and which is actually almost 7 years old since its launch, which was back in September 2013. So let's begin this. So as I mentioned earlier, the iPhone 5s was launched back in September 2013, which is actually quite a long time, approximately 7 years to be honest. So now let us test if it still works well, if it's still worthy of a phone to use in 2020, that is after 7 years. So let us start with the design aspect of this phone. Well, the design aspect of this phone is one of the biggest things that I like about this device. It is a sleek design, aluminium coated metal. Here we have the power button over here, and we have the volume rockers as you can see over here. Well, it has a really good design, as you can see right here. It has a metal finish, aluminium coated metal, which was very famous at the time of launch of iPhone 4s, 5, 5s and so on till 6 and 6s. So this design is actually really good, and frankly I really like this design, and I consider it by far the most attractive and sleek design and a compact design for an iPhone. So as you can see, it really easily fits in my hand. So this is my one hand, and this 4-inch retina display that the iPhone has can easily fit in my hand. Talking about the camera interface is typical iOS camera interface, and we have a 8 megapixel8 megapixel rear facing camera and 1.2 MP front megapixel camera. Let's not talk about the pixels, because this phone was released obviously 7 years ago, so that was quite a long time, and at that time there were not much specifications of phones out there. But still, if you consider the pictures and some of the photo qualities that I already took from this device, as you can see over here. So this is one picture, this is of the keyboard and from the nightscapes. So pictures actually come out to be really good on this device, no matter it's only no matter it's already 8 megapixel camera, but still it performs at its best. So, and the iPhone 5s runs on iOS 12.4.7, which was released back in 2019 with iPhone 11. But apart from that, the iOS is really smooth. As you see, there are no lagginess or no glitches or something. Everything just works fine and just works according to the expectations. But yes, it is considered to be on a slower side as compared to other phones like SE or even the premium phones which we get from Apple right now, that are iPhone XS, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, etc. But that is about the design, and the aspect ratio is also really good. It is, as I told, it's a compact phone. It is easy to use and still highly recommended. And obviously iPhones have a really good resale value. So even if you don't want to use this and sell it, you get a really good value. Whereas if you take an Android phone 7 years ago and then try to sell it right now, that won't actually sell, because the Android phones have a very less resale value. So that was about the iOS and the design and the camera. Now let us talk about the multitasking and RAM on this device. So RAM is actually 1 gigabyte, which is actually quite very low, because we are getting devices now at around 10 GB or 12 GB of RAM. But this device, even though it has 1 GB of RAM, performs tasks really well. So let us have a quick task with multitasking. So as you can see over here, I'm opening the apps. I'm just switching over the apps to test if the multitasking works fine. So here the mail is also open over here. Then the clock. Here's the settings app. So it takes just a bit of a second to load, but still it is working. It is really smooth. As you can see, there are no lags. It is really smooth, and it's a typical iOS usage wherein you have these specific features. Your screen time, your weather, everything gets displayed. So, and it is really actually good to use iOS even until now, and obviously it's not as fast as the latest iPhones, but it is really nice. So as you can see, in general and settings, we have the about the phone, and here let me just zoom in for you. Here we have the software version of 12.4.7, model name iPhone 5s, and as I'm running on Airtel right now in India. And the storage is actually a downside of it, which is only 16 gigabytes, and out of that 9.84 GB is available as of now out of the box. So this is quite much about the iOS, and here I'll be showing you that it is up to date, which is 12.4.7. Well, considering one downside is the storage, and the other downside is its battery. Now the iPhone 5s has 1570 milliampere battery, that is 1570 mAh, which is very less actually compared to the phones which are coming right now with almost 5000 to 6000 mAh batteries. So this phone has a bit of a downside in battery, and it actually lasts only about 3/4 of the day on a typical day's usage. So for it to last for one complete day, or you'll have to switch on this low power modes, but still it only runs maximum about 3 out of. So the two main downsides according to me for this phone are, number one, be the storage of this phone, which is only 16 gigabyte variant. Although 32 and 64 GB are available, but that is also not sufficient actually, considering the year 2020, and we have so many apps and so much of storage space is what we need. So, and the second thing is 1570 mAh battery is way too less, and it does not even last a typical day of usage. Almost about a 3/4 of usage if used efficiently, or else only a half a day. So these two are the two big trade-offs and downsides of this phone. But apart from that, this phone also has a Touch ID sensor, which was actually introduced only in this phone in 5S way back in 2013. So let me just test this Touch ID. Touch ID also seems to respond correctly, as you can see over here. I just unlocked my phone. You see it is locked. And let me try it again. So as you can see over here, it easily unlocks using the Touch ID sensor, which is actually Apple's security and is really good. And Apple security, as we all know, it is up to date, and the data stored is only with Apple. So it's not like any government data storage or something like that. So this is quite a clean interface. As you can see, it is really smooth, no lags, nothing as such. Let's not forget to talk about the processor of this phone. Well, the iPhone 5s runs on the Apple A7 processor, which is obviously a 7-year-old processor, which hardly most of people remember, because right now the latest processor is A13 Bionic chipset. But as of that part, A7 was the processor which was released. But honestly, I would tell you that the processors made by Apple are really nice, and it runs for a longer time. It are actually really durable and much more long-lasting and powerful chipsets being created by Apple. So in this, it is a really nice interface and really smooth, and it is only the software which is most important in the iPhone. Obviously, hardware takes a role, but the software has been really optimized well, as you can see in this. So apart from the downsides of this phone still suits really nice for 2020. Although the storage and battery are less, this phone still works in 2020, which is quite surprising, because even after 7 years there is an iPhone which is actually working well. Yes, it is not on the latest version of iOS. Latest version is iOS 14, which is gonna come sooner, and Apple has already announced that. But still, iOS 12 runs pretty seamless, pretty fast, and without any lags, as you see over here. It's multitasking is also really good. If I switch between apps, it is nice. See, settings is open over here. It's a really smooth interface. Like you don't generally get this on Android. The feel is on iPhone actually. And apart from that, again, this is already a very old phone. I've been using this from almost 3 years now, and I remember buying it for a much higher price than it is sold at right now. So I think 5S will not even be available as of now. Even if it will be, there will be a 64GB or a 32GB variant available. So that's been it for the 5S. The pros from my side would be its UI, sleek design, the iOS, a small compact ratio of the phone, and the camera. Though it's a 8 megapixel camera, it's a really good camera, and you can still rely on the camera for the future generation, because the dynamic range actually from the camera is really nice. And from the video quality, of course, iPhone leads in the video quality in any smart devices as of now available. So that one part, and the cons being the battery and the storage of the phone. And also, if somebody does not like the size of this phone, it is a compact phone. I usually like compact phones more, but if you want to go with a big phone, definitely it's not an option. And gaming is not a thing for this phone anymore, because it can only run easy small games like Color Switch or like Mario or something, but PUBG Mobile or Call of Duty or some games like that, it cannot simply run because of the small interface, and it's really difficult. It may run, but again, it'll lag and it will not be that good of an experience. You won't be able to play in 4K or as such. So in my frank opinion, iPhone 5s is still good to go in 2020, used by certain carriers in India, and I don't know about abroad, but still I think many telecom operators do support 5s. So that's been it from me. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your patience and time for watching this and making it wonderful. If you do like this video, please do give a thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel at the right bottom button available to you. And please do share it if you really wish to. Well, that's it from me. I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.